Okay, the time is approximately 6 p.m. on August 24th, 2023. Farragut Board Mayor and Alderman meeting will now begin. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, attendants and online. I want to thank you for your presence at tonight's Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting. I am Ron Williams, the fourth elected mayor of the town of Farragut. We appreciate that each of you has taken the time from your busy schedules to either attend or view tonight's meeting to see how our town government works. All Farragut Board and Alderman meetings are public notice per Tennessee state law. Our meetings can be seen live on Charter Channel 193 and on TDS Channel 3, as well as on the Farragut YouTube channel and our website. All board meetings are recorded and can be viewed at a later date on the mentioned locations. If you're in attendance, you should be able to pick up a copy of tonight's agenda at the door when you come in. If you were not able to attend tonight and are viewing from home, then the agenda is available online at our website. For those in attendance that would like to speak, please pick up a blue card at the door, write in your name and the agenda number you wish to comment on, and there will also be time reserved at the end of tonight's meeting for citizens' comments on non-agenda items, which also requires that you fill out a blue card with citizens' comments as the time that you wish to speak. On each agenda item, the mayor will ask the town recorder for the residents' input. During this time, any Farragut resident wishing to speak to the board on that specific agenda item may do so for up to 5 minutes. After being recognized by the mayor, please go to the podium microphone in order to be heard and viewed by all. To conduct efficient business-like meetings, the town has adopted rules for how its meetings will be conducted. Primarily, these rules are designed to keep the meeting moving and to assure that all points of view are heard and considered, and to provide common courtesy to everyone. We ask that you observe the established meeting rules when addressing the board. At the beginning of each presentation, please state your name and address for the record. We ask that you address all of your questions to the mayor, or in his absence, the vice mayor. Do not direct the questions to the alderman or staff members. If necessary, the mayor may call on an alderman or staff member concerning your question or comments. Once you've given your input, please return to your seat so we can continue. We ask that every speaker avoid the use of improper language, profanity, and other inappropriate conduct, and address issues, not individuals or personalities, with malicious comments. Speakers should strive to avoid redundancy and should have their own original viewpoints. We ask that you also stay on topic of that agenda item. We're here tonight doing the people's business. It's a very important responsibility for all of us. On meeting call to order, we will start tonight with a roll call by our town administrator for a quorum prior to standing for a silent prayer, which will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to our country's flag, which will be led tonight by Alderman David White.
Alderman Burnett.
Here.
Alderman Meyer.
Here.
Vice Mayor Povlin. Here. Alderman White.
Here.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams here.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Approval of the agenda. Do we have any agenda amendments tonight?
Yes, sir. There is one agenda item we'd like to add to this evening under business items. So this will be item 6F, appointment of representative to the Knox County Growth Policy Coordinating Committee.
Move to approve the amended agenda.
Okay. If in favor of approval, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Any noes? Okay. Let the record show that the August 24th, 2023 agenda has been approved as amended. Approval of minutes. Do we have any amendments to the minutes?
No, sir.
One minor, Mayor.
Sure.
On the back page, last paragraph, after much discussion, the motion was made to approve the closure of the eastern temporary access from First Baptist Concord to Kingston Pike. That should read from the old Bel Air Drive to Kingston Pike.
Okay, sir, can you,
From the old, okay.
so town administrator will adjust that accordingly?
Yes, sir, we have that.
Okay, thank you, Alderman White.
Move to approve the amended minutes.
Second.
Okay. Okay, if in favor of the approval of the amended minutes, please say yes. Yes. Noes? Okay, let the record show that the August 10th, 2023 amended minutes have been approved. Okay. Next will be the mayor's report, and I'll start with the congratulations to both the Sparrow Wine Bar and the River Dogs Bakery for their new business openings in our town. This is two more pieces of the puzzle called Farragut. We take great pride in supporting our small businesses in the town of Farragut. And next will be the Vice Mayor's report.
I just wanted to thank the Public Works and the Parks and Rec Department for the Fun with Farragut Fleet that was held this last Saturday. I heard it was very well attended and a lot of kids had a lot of fun. I also want to thank Shandy Dixon for hosting the lawn chair series last Saturday night. My husband and I got to attend. It was really a fun event. I told her that is my second favorite event. My first favorite event is Light the Park, and she said that's my favorite event too. So we were in agreement there. Also, Visit Farragut and Daddy Max hosted the singer-songwriter event last night. That was nicely attended and a really neat event. Hopefully they'll do some more of those in the future.
Okay, any other aldermen have anything to report?
Yeah, I do, Mayor. I just
Okay.
wanted to highlight some intro to Farragut class attendees who have made it here tonight. We've got about 10 of them, and for some reason they thought they could only sit in the back. And they must be Baptists, I don't know, but appreciate y'all being here. We got to be there for the kickoff event, I guess, last Wednesday. Very excited that you all have an interest in the town. What is this town and why was it even made? Hopefully you've dug into Full Speed Ahead, which is a great, great book that tells you a lot about how we got to where we are today. So I'm glad you're interested in our town, and I hope you enjoy the next 6 or 8 weeks. But thanks for being here.
Okay, thank you. Okay, ordinances. Tonight we have two for review and public hearing. The first one will be public hearing and second reading of ordinance 23-11, an ordinance to amend the Farragut Municipal Code, Appendix A, zoning, Chapter 3, Section 20, Community Service District, S1, to require concept layout plan in association with a rezoning request to S1. Town of Farragut is the applicant on this.
Good evening, I'm Mark Shipley. I'll present this item. This ordinance basically would provide for the requirement to have a concept plan in association with the rezoning to the Community Service Zoning District. The reason for this being added is that this particular zoning district can provide for a very large footprint building. It's kind of an institutional zoning district. It also is frequently used to serve as a transitional zoning district between commercial or something more intense transitioning to, like a lower density residential zoning district. So for those reasons, we felt like it was valuable for the community to understand what an applicant intends to do with property that they're requesting to rezone to S1 before it's actually rezoned. We have a similar requirement already in place for the PCD district, the TCD, and most recently the open space mixed residential zoning district. So it's not really uncommon. It's pretty much the same layer of information that we're asking for a concept plan. It's not a super huge investment on an applicant's part, but it is enough for the commission and the public to understand and the board to understand, what someone is intending to do with the property before it is actually rezoned. So when this was presented to the Planning Commission and at their meeting in July, they did unanimously recommend approval. It also was unanimously supported on first reading by the board. There have been no changes to this ordinance since first reading, and the staff recommends approval of ordinance 23-11 on second reading.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay. Do we have any residents to speak on this
No,
one?
sir.
We do not? Okay, good. Start with Vice Mayor on discussion.
I have nothing.
Alderman Burnett,
Nothing new to add from first reading.
Alderman Meyer,
Pass.
Alderman White.
No, sir.
I have nothing. This is great that we're doing this because I think the public can see what's going on ahead of time. It does help for them to understand whenever they see an actual concept plan, so it's a good idea, Mark. Okay, with discussion closed, I'll ask for a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Burnett,
Yes.
Alderman Meyer,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Pavlin,
Yes.
Alderman White,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams, yes. Let the record show the amendment to ordinance 23-11 has been approved on the second reading by roll call vote. Okay. Next will be a public hearing on first reading of ordinance 23-13, an ordinance to amend the capital investment program budget for fiscal year 2023-2024 that was passed by ordinance 23-07.
Yes, sir. The capital investment program will be amended by increasing the appropriated expenditures from $17.2 million to $23.1 million, which is an increase of $5.8 million. This is for the CMAQ townwide signal system upgrade. This amendment is needed to budget for the expenditure in the current fiscal year. The expenditure for the CMAQ project was budgeted in previous fiscal years. The original project budget was $6.8 million, which included the town of Farragut appropriating $100,000 for ADA improvements and $100,000 for the estimated cost of the fiber strand upgrade to the project. An additional $15,000 is needed from the CIP reserves to completely fund the fiber strand upgrade. The amended budget for the CMAQ project will be $6,825,000. The town's cost for this project is $215,000 for the overall project, with the remaining $6.6 being 100% funded through the congestion mitigation air quality grant. The motion is to approve ordinance 23-13 on first reading.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay. Any resident comments on
No,
this
sir.
one? None? Okay. Discussion, start again with the Vice Mayor.
I am thrilled that we decided to upgrade our fiber. I think that's going to serve us well in the future. That's all I got.
Okay, great. Alderman White.
None.
Alderman Burnett.
Agree with the vice mayor, going from 72 to 144 strands of fiber. I don't even think we know all the benefits that it's going to provide now, but in 5-10 years, people will be very, very, very glad that we did. So
Well worth the cost.
no other questions.
Okay. Alderman Meyer. I agree with everyone. This was a much-needed upgrade. Okay, with discussion completed, I'll ask the town recorder for a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Burnett,
Yes.
Alderman Meyer,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Pavlin,
Yes.
Alderman White,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams, yes. Let the record show that the amendment by ordinance 23-13 of ordinance 2307 was approved on the first reading. Okay, next we'll have business items. Looks like we have an amended agenda for 6 items to review and consider for approval. First will be the approval of special event permit for St. John Newman Catholic Church and Schools Mustang Miles 5K event.
Yes, sir. This event is going to be kind of in correspondence with their beer permit they requested earlier. It's open to the public. It's a 5K beginning at 8 a.m. on October 21st. The start and finish will be located at the St. John Newman Church at 625 St. John Court. This event will use some of the Town of Farragut greenways, and the motion is to approve the event application involving the Town of Farragut's greenways for the St. John Newman Catholic Church and School 5K race.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay. Any resident comments
No,
on
sir.
this? Okay, discussion. Do we have a representative here, or is he already
We
gone?
do.
Okay.
Patrick Wade is here.
Okay. If you'd like to step up to the microphone.
Or he was here, sorry.
Oh, you left? Okay, well, got the beer permit, and he took off.
You got the important parts.
The most important part happened.
Understood. Okay. Then we will start discussion without him. And Alderman Meyer?
Great event, and I support it.
Okay, Alderman Burnett?
No questions.
Vice Mayor?
I have none.
Alderman White?
I have none.
None as well. With discussion complete, I'll ask that if in favor, vote by saying yes. Yes. Let the record show that permit has been approved. Approval of Resolution -R 2023-07, amended FY 2024 fee resolution. And Ron, you're up.
Good evening, Mayor and Board of Aldermen. I'm Ron Ostrike. I'm the Parks and Recreation Director, and I'm here to talk about fees and a change to the fee structure. We've seen a recent increase in pavilion rentals, leaving excessive trash at our park pavilions and our sports fields. Our park attendant staff are often here past midnight trying to clean up these parks and pavilions. Due to these ongoing situations, staff brought this issue to the Parks and Athletics Council at the August 8th meeting. The council voted to recommend to the board changes to the rental regulations for the pavilion rentals at McPhee Park. Looking at the entire scope of not only pavilions, but the parks themselves, we are recommending that the board adopt the following fine structure into the fee resolution. First, violation is a written warning and/or a $100 fine charged to the renter and the organization. The renter and the organization will not be allowed to use the fields until that fee is paid. Second violation is a $100 fine and a 30-day suspension without refund of fees to the renter organization. The organization will not be allowed to rent a pavilion or use fields until after that 30-day suspension and the fine is paid. And then finally, a third trash violation, the renter and the organization's contract will be canceled, and the organization will be banned from using any town of Farragut field in the future. We have purchased large trash receptacles to help all of these groups throw their trash away. We put those into place a few weeks ago. We had a rental that came that was notoriously one who violated, and lo and behold, they cleaned up after themselves. So I think this will motivate people to be a little bit cleaner and tidier, and it gives us a little leverage if they don't.
Okay, thank you, Ron.
Move to approve Resolution R 2023-07, amended fiscal year 2024 fee resolution to include an excessive trash fee for parks, pavilions, and sports fields.
Second.
Okay. We'll start discussion. Do we have any resident comments?
No,
None.
sir.
Okay, we'll start with Alderman White.
None.
Okay, Alderman Meyer,
Pass.
Alderman Burdette.
Yeah. So I had two notes, and then I'll ask a couple questions. One was we've got to document when we issue a fine. I think a picture's fine of the entire area.
Yep.
It'll keep from he said, she said, and it wasn't that dirty, So document. The second one was, which we discussed earlier in Parks and Rec meeting, is, we're talking about 200 people, 150 people can seat up to 250 people. We've got to really, really increase our trash collecting capabilities. So what is, and I just heard you say that you just added new ones, so how do these look different now than what they were as far as trash receptacles?
150 gallons, so big.
Yeah.
So a singular 150 at all pavilions?
Well, we had the 70-gallon ones or the 50-gallon ones. So in addition to those 50, we have 150 gallon ones at each.
Okay.
So the large pavilion and the
Great Lawn?
The Great Lawn, yeah.
So is 150 a household,
It's
waste connection trash can or that size?
It's more like the large trash receptacles with the lid that garbage trucks pick up. So very large.
How do you move them?
Yeah, how do you
On wheels. Yeah.
You what?
Wheels.
Wheel them in there?
Yep.
And they are stored up at the top of McPhee?
They're stored in the storage room in both the top McPhee and in the Great Lawn Pavilion.
Okay.
Okay, that's my biggest concern, and it sounds like that's going to be.
Yeah, it was already, like I said, a notorious group that leaves a lot of garbage. Didn't this time, so.
Awesome. No other questions?
Vice Mayor.
I would like for you to consider revisiting this in 6 months.
Sure.
Just to say, okay, has this been
Yep.
effective? Do we need to up the fee?
How about a year? Because in 6 months, It will be in March. So, yeah, so we did talk about that at the council meeting as well.
Yes, okay. Whatever you guys, I just want you to revisit it.
Yeah,
make
we'll
sure
revisit it
that
in a year.
If it's not effective, you might need to up the cost.
Yeah.
Make it worth this is gonna hurt.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
It would have to go back to the Parks and Rec Committee.
Yes,
Okay.
that's what I meant, for
Okay.
them to revisit it and make
Okay.
sure that it's effective. If it's not effective, then you have to go through this whole process again. If it is, I don't need to hear about it.
Okay, very good.
Okay, I have nothing. Y'all have covered it. So for discussion complete, I'll ask that if in favor, vote by saying yes.
Yes.
Any noes? Okay, let the record show that the resolution R 2023-07 has been approved. Okay, next will be approval of amendment to the rental agreement for the temporary modular office space from Vesta Modular for town hall renovations.
Mayor, at our meeting back in July, we approved a contract with Vesta for a 12-month lease period for temporary office space for Town Hall. On that initial contract, Vesta had left off a personal property taxes that they have to pay on that modular home. So the request here is for an amendment of $2,385 in additional expenses for the cost of that Vesta modular office space for this particular project. So that's the motion to approve, and we support.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, any resident comments? None. Okay, discussion, Alderman Burnett,
No questions.
Alderman Meyer,
Pass.
Vice Mayor,
I have none.
Alderman White.
None.
I have none as well. Discussion complete. I'll ask if in favor, vote by saying yes.
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 Any noes? Okay, let the record show the amendment has been approved as presented. Next will be approval of a change order number 1, contract 2022-07, Town of Farragut ATMS project.
Good evening. This change order is what resulted in the budget amendment that you approved just a little while ago. The intent of the change order is to increase the fiber strand from 72 count to 144 count. That's on the ATMS project. Total cost of this is $115,350.07. Staff recommends approval.
Approve.
Second.
Okay, resident comments?
No, sir.
Okay, none. Discussion, Alderman White.
None.
Vice Mayor,
I have none.
Alderman Meyer,
Pass.
Alderman Burnett.
No questions.
Oh, I do have one question.
Okay, go right ahead.
So we have fiber, it's above ground going from basically Concord Road to Watt Road. There are possibilities that we may have in the future a traffic light at Watt Road and Old Stage. I know that the residents are thinking of a four-way stop at McPhee and Old Stage that could potentially, you've said, has met warrants for a traffic light. Are we prepared for the possibility of having to extend to those areas if possible, if needed?
It would require splicing, but it can be done, yes.
Okay.
Okay. We're going to be eventually running to McPhee anyway, aren't we?
That's my understanding, yes.
Okay.
That's a separate project, Mayor, but yes, sir, we're working on the design of that right now, trying to extend that fiber. So it would go through the intersection,
Okay.
Vice Mayor Posley, you were just
Okay.
talking about at McPhee and Old Stage, all the way down to McPhee Park.
Okay.
Okay, that's good.
Separate project. I don't want to confuse anyone with that, but we are working on the design now.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone have anything else? Okay, none. Discussion complete. I'll ask that if in favor, vote by saying yes.
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 Okay, let the record show that change order number 1 has been approved as requested. Thank you, Darrell. Okay, next will be a rejection of bids for contract 2023-15 security gates at McPhee Park.
Hello again. As you all know, we've been attempting to get electronic gates at McPhee Park. This project has been out to bid 3 times. The first 2 attempts saw no bids submitted. This last attempt on August 15th saw 1 bid submitted. It was from Jones Electric Services and was $26,000 over budget. We're recommending that the board reject this bid. Moving forward, we're looking to purchase electronic gates through Sourcewell, the organization that helps government buyers by holding hundreds of competitively bid cooperative contracts for use through public agencies. We've already met with 2 companies and have a 3rd meeting on Monday. We're meeting with all of these people who have gates available through Sourcewell. Public Works is assisting us with getting quotes from electricians to bring power to the gates. So we're continuing to move ahead with this project. It looks a little different than our original plan and a little different than our timeline, but we're confident we'll get this done.
I move to approve to reject the bid for contract 2023-15 security gates at McPhee Park opened on August 15, 2023.
Second.
Any resident comments?
No, sir.
Okay, none. Okay, discussion, Vice Mayor?
I have nothing.
Okay. Alderman White?
I have nothing.
Alderman Meyer?
I'm glad to reject it, and I'm glad to hear that we have cheaper alternatives.
Okay, Alderman Burnett?
Will you show us the options as you get them from Sourcewell?
Sure,
Okay.
happy to.
Thanks.
Yeah, I agree. That's something we probably do need to look at. Okay, with discussion completed, I'll ask if in favor, vote by saying yes.
Yes.
Any noes? Okay, let the record show that the request has been approved to reject contract 2023-15. Okay, next will be the addition or the amendment. Purpose of this agenda is to appoint a representative to the Knox County Growth and Policy Coordinating Committee that is being reconvened by Knox County Mayor Glenn Jacobs.
Mayor, thank you. The Tennessee General Assembly approved Public Chapter 1101 in 1998, and this act establishes that each Tennessee county and all their municipalities have urban growth boundaries and develop a growth policy plan. The plan is meant for future annexation and land use designations and really for the future of growth in the county. The Knox County Growth Plan has not been amended since 2001. And recently, Knox County completed its comprehensive land use and transportation plan that will help guide future growth and development in the county. In order for Knox County to implement that plan, however, they need to update the growth policy plan. And that's why Mayor Jacobs has requested to reconvene the committee pursuant to TCA 658-104 within the next 30 days. Representation on the committee for the town of Farragut can be found under the same provision, which allows for the mayor of each municipality or the mayor's designee to be confirmed by the municipal governing body. And Mayor Williams, in discussions with him, is asking the Board of Mayor and Aldermen to appoint myself, David Smoke, Town Administrator, to be the representative for the town of Farragut on the Knox County Growth Policy Coordinating Committee.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, do we have any resident comments
sir.
on this? No. Okay, we'll start off discussion with Alderman White.
None.
Vice Mayor?
David, do you have any idea if they're just amending the map, they're amending the policies? Have you gotten any input as to what their goals are for this policy plan meeting?
I do know that they do plan on amending the map, the map along with their policies. So
Okay.
they will have both to be discussed and evaluated during the process. They did say that they are not planning on asking for any changes to the urban growth boundaries of both the city and the town of Farragut. So those things that we have in place now will remain in place.
Okay. I'd like to remain in the loop when you get information from them. I'd like to be able to see it. Obviously, what goes on in unincorporated Knox County has had a significant impact on us, so,
Absolutely. I can share that with all the board members when I get that.
thank you.
Alderman Meyer?
Pass.
Alderman Burnett?
No questions.
Well, the reason that this is even being on the table is because we originally rejected the request, the town of Farragut did, to do away with the growth policy plan. And it brought everyone back to the table to talk about it. Of course, David's been involved with that. So
Mayor, can I add one thing to that? I'm
Yes.
sorry to, just want to make sure everybody understands the process too. So the Growth Policy Plan Committee will convene and they will work for however amount of time it takes to get that plan approved through the committee. And once that happens, then it will come back to the County Commission, the City of Knoxville, and the Board of Mayor and Alderman for the town of Farragut. And each of those legislative bodies will have to approve it in order for it to be enacted.
Okay.
Yeah, this is really an important deal for us because it's just something that we had to have. Okay, with discussion completed, I'll ask that if in favor, vote by saying yes.
Yes.
Any noes? Okay, let the record show that the appointment has been approved. Okay, next will be Town Administrator's report.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware that next week on Thursday, August 31st, we have two public hearings, one at 11:30 and one at 5:30 in the community center for updates to our mixed-use town center district. So we're really hoping that we get a good turnout from our citizens and our business owners that are in and around that district and all over town to see what they'd like to see for the future of this area we call kind of downtown Farragut. So if everybody will put that on their calendar, Thursday, August 31st at 11:30 or 5:30, either one. And that's all I have to report.
Okay. Tom is not here. I'll comment on what David said. This is another chance for the public to get out and discuss what they feel needs to be looked at in the future. So thank you again, David. Citizens' comments. At the end of our business meeting, we have reserved some time for citizen comment. If we have anyone signed up to speak, I will ask that each speaker, if they've had the opportunity to read the comment protocol located on the back of tonight's posted agenda. If so, please step up to the podium microphone. When you're recognized, state your name and address for the record. You will have 5 minutes to give your comments. I advise our board and staff members to take notes for future reference or questions.
So our first speaker is Michael Wilson, 412 Eisenhower Street.
Thank you.
Good evening, Michael Wilson, 412 Eisenhower Street, Farragut, Tennessee. I want to address the pending parkland purchase in the southwest area of Farragut this evening. The purchase was first discussed at the budget workshop on April 13th. It was not included in the draft budget at the time, but was something Mr. Smoke brought up during that meeting. 2 weeks later, a line item of $5.6 million was added for the purchase of this land. The budget was passed in early June, and a letter of intent was issued later that month. We are now in the 90-day review period. Parks, like roads, should be planned and not done in haste. While this is in the budget, there should be a lot more discussion with residents about the particular location and other impacts. I provided you with several illustrations as references for the rest of my comments. The stars in illustration 1 indicate the current existing and approved parks in Farragut. The South Ward has McPhee Park, Anchor Park, the playground at the Town Hall, and the new mixed-use Town Center Park. The North Ward has Mayor Bob Leonard Park, Mayor Ralph McGill Park, and Founders Park. There's an area in town without park space within an easy and safe walking or biking distance. It's indicated in the purple dash box. That area is in the North Ward around Everett Road and Union Road. In contrast, in illustration 2 shows that the land up for purchase would be about a quarter of a mile south of McPhee Park that services the surrounding neighborhoods. Land is becoming scarcer, and the ability to provide a park in the North Ward for North Ward residents is shrinking. Illustration number 3 provides one of the few remaining options. The Ivy Farm property along Kingston Pike provides several advantages over the current proposal, including those listed in illustrations 4 and 5. Some of these advantages include lower cost to purchase the land as there are less acreage, approximately 15 to 20 acres in this area versus 55. It is adjacent to greenways and open space along Little Turkey Creek and the upcoming expansion of Union Road. It provides walkability and a possible connection of the greenways on either side of Kingston Pike under the road. This location supports 12 or more Farragut neighborhoods, all within walking or biking distance, including Fox Run, Ivy Farm, Saddle Ridge, Western Fox Den, Camden Grove, McKinley Station, Split Rail, Andover, Old Stage Hills, Old Stage Farms, Wentworth, and the Renaissance condos. Most of the land is free of trees, and there is no large sinkhole to contend with, decreasing the future development cost of this property. This location requires minimal road construction to access the property as well. Finally, it would provide a visually appealing break to the commercial development along Kingston Pike in the western section of town. As you enter Farragut from the west, just envision this large green open space that would approach up on your left in that corner. This would speak to the identity of Farragut as a family-friendly and walkable town. So I ask, why are we centralizing our parks in an area where more than 1/2 of the local population would come from Knox and Loudoun counties? Why are the parents and kids in neighborhoods such as Fox Run, Fox Den, Ivy Farm, Saddle Ridge, and others not benefiting from a park close to their homes? Who is advocating for them in their interests? Has anyone besides me contacted the Ivy Farm property owners to see if they would even be interested in a park in this area? As I said, parks ought to be planned just like roads and other land uses. Centralizing parks in the southwestern corner of the town is not in the best interest of Farragut residents and is not in the best use of these funds. I urge the town to conduct a workshop during your next meeting to discuss and consider all these factors before finalizing this deal. Let the residents of Farragut have a say in where their next town park should be placed. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Michael, for your opinion. Next.
Our next speaker is Pat Lee at 405 Ensign Lane.
Pat Lee, 405 Ensign Lane. Mayor Williams, thank you for your opening comment regarding being here to do the people's business. I believe that's an important goal, and I believe their opinions are critical in determining the future of this town. Several of us were here for the recent vote to allocate $5.6 million to purchase the land on McPhee Road with absolutely no stated purpose or plan. Sadly, 40% of this board of mayor and aldermen were absent for the vote. I'd like to address these questions for clarification to Mayor Williams, Vice Mayor Povlin, and Alderman White, who are present for the vote, and I'd like a response. Are you aware that there's a nearly 2-acre active sinkhole on the McPhee land purchase site? Are you aware, is there a reason it isn't mentioned in any communication or discussions as of this date? How does this impact the access easement for the road? Are you aware that Knox County Schools per Susan Horn pulled out of the purchase of this site due to the extreme cost to put the road in? What is your reason for refusing to vote? What is your reason for refusing to even second Alderman White's request to delay the vote to allow for a workshop to ask the residents if they even want to purchase this land over the other needs of the community? What was the urgency to force this vote on an expenditure of this magnitude with 40% of BOMA missing? I respectfully ask that this decision to deny Alderman White's request for this workshop with residents to hear their opinions be reconsidered. Will you commit to this prior to any further votes on this matter? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lee.
Our next speaker is Judy Gerhardt.
I'm Judy Gerhardt. I live on Chowning Drive in Village Green. I've been here since 1977. And first, I want to thank you for your work, your effort, and your time that you give to help us have the community and the town that we have. I'll appreciate it very much and always have. About 2 weeks ago when we had the storm, I lost a very large white oak tree in my yard. Thank goodness, very blessed, it did not fall on the house. It did not fall on anybody. It stayed in the yard. But it did block the street. And before dark, even though there were many we were the last on the list, that was okay, because it only affected 9 families. The men from the maintenance, street maintenance, or whatever that department is called, came, removed the brush from the street, piled it over in the yard, and said they would be back. And sure enough, about a week later, they were back. They cleaned it up. They got everything out of the street. Everything they had cut was chipped. They did a wonderful job, and they were some of the nicest people that I've ever had occasion to work with. One of the gentlemen told me that I won the prize, and I said, "What prize is that?" He said, "Oh, you've got the biggest tree that we've cut so far." Not a prize you want to win, but I just wanted you to know how much I appreciate the work that these gentlemen did and how kind they were and how polite they were. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. Yeah, I
That
had a
concludes
call.
our speakers.
Had a call from Bud McKelvey on that, and he told me that they were going to attempt to get it all unblocked by 9 o'clock. And I think that was the goal, and I think they did a good job doing it. And then they've cleaned up, I think, everybody's brush. So, okay, we'll start. Vice Mayor, do you have any comments?
I don't.
You have no comments. None. Alderman Burnett?
Nothing.
None. Alderman White?
Well, I think I was asked a question about a sinkhole. I don't have any knowledge of a sinkhole on that property. It could be. If somebody has that information, that's good information. That's pertinent to buying any piece of property. If it has a sinkhole on it, it certainly makes it less desirable. And if there was another question, I don't know what it was. Was there another question of me?
There are multiple questions, but it appears that the Board of Mayor and Alderman aren't prepared to answer them. They don't think they owe the citizens an answer.
Is that
I think that was the only question of me was regarding the sinkhole.
okay?
I asked if they'd hold off and take another crack at talking to the people and see if they want this, before they vote again.
You've had your chance to speak, and
If I can answer.
they'll get back to you.
I will agree with that, Mayor. I don't think we have enough citizen input on a lot of things. But this one in particular, I mean, this is a lot of money. If anybody doesn't think $5.5 million is a lot of money, he's got a better job than me. And I'm getting paid nothing right now. But that's a lot of money, and I think we ought to get all the citizen input that we can. And I asked David for a workshop on this item, and he said the workshop really wasn't a good place for it, and I agree, because it's just between the board and the citizens don't get to talk. But apparently we're having a simulation of a town meeting for the town center, where people can come and talk. Why can't we have the same thing for this land and get more people's opinion on what we ought to do?
Well, I can answer that for you. We did have a workshop, and we had numerous workshops for that end of town, and the citizens were able to come, and we had the room set up over there with maps on it, and we had questionnaires for them, and everybody walked.
In 2019, we updated the McPhee
Oh,
Road,
2019.
Yeah.
the McPhee Road corridor plan for the future land use map. And the feedback we received overwhelmingly was the residents in that area did not want any more housing development. Of course, we're kind of restricted by what the Constitution allows us to do with regard to people's private property rights. And the point was made repeatedly over the last several years that the only way we can control property is to purchase it.
Well, excuse me, this may sound a little tacky, but I apologize. But are we gonna buy every piece of land over there so nobody will
one-
build a house on it? I
And
mean,
This one was offered to us. The property owner came to us after this deal fell through and asked us if we were interested. He has no timeline on, all he requires is an easement access. He has no timeline.
All I'm asking for is a meeting. That
You
will
are
be.
welcome to go talk to
Would you not interrupt me, please? I mean,
She's got the floor, okay?
I apologize. I believe you're the South Ward Alderman. You're the South Ward Alderman. Go talk to the residents out there. Go talk to them. They came and talked to us about what they're seeing. I'm hearing from the residents on McPhee Road that this is important to them. I'm not having a conversation with you, Mr. Lee.
I want to respond to Alderman White's question, if you please.
Lord,
Mr. Lee, you've had your chance to speak.
May I respond to Alderman White's question with
No,
me?
no. We're having discussion ourselves. Please go sit back down.
The school board pulled out of this for a reason.
they had to build a road. We don't have to
you don't
build
have the
a road.
floor now.
I'm sorry.
I mean, we're gonna do
I'm-
it
he
for
just came up-
everybody.
She's got
I'm
the
not done yet.
floor. Let's let her finish, and then, Mr. White, if you want to speak, then we'll go back to you again.
I'm worn out. I am worn out. I thought that this would be a no-brainer for this community to take this land, these heavily wooded area, and preserve it. What have we been hearing on next door for the last 3 years? Oh, you're taking away everybody's, you're chopping down trees, you're taking away everybody's environment. We have an opportunity to preserve this land in its current state for a very long time, and then decide with the community in a future time when all of this crap goes away, to talk about what we can do with that land. But we have a golden opportunity to control how that access easement is designed, that we won't have control if it, and regardless of whatever people saying, fear-mongering, when the school was making this deal, the school was going to have the far west property, Saddlebrook was going to have the inner property and 55 acres, and they were going to develop it as a neighborhood. That has been confirmed to me by a number of parties. That is the option. I'm hearing from the residents on McPhee Road that this is a struggle. McPhee Road is a struggle. I think that this is an opportunity to expand what we have going on with the trees, the trails out there that the residents will find very enjoyable. It's an opportunity. It doesn't affect me either way. But I'm not hearing this groundswell from the residents from McPhee telling us to not do this. And they're the ones that are impacted when whatever neighborhood Saddlebrook builds. I'm just so tired of this. Well, everything is drama. Everything's a controversy.
Okay, Alderman White,
I do talk to the people. I talk to more people. Here's the list of neighborhoods I talk to. I am so tired of this. Here's the list that I made up the other day to demonstrate how many people I talk to all over this community. Here's my neighborhood list. Ridgeland, Chapel Point, Chapel Grove, Hollyoaks, Weatherly Hills, Berkeley Park, Prestwick Place, McKinley Station, Fox Run, Saddle Ridge, Ivy Farm, Sedgefield, Concord Hills, Inverness, Kingsgate, Sheffield, Vista, Bridgemore, McPhee Manor, Andover, Shiloh Condos, Farragut Crossing, Derby Chase, Bel Air, Glen Abbey, Brass Lantern, Cottage at Price Farms, Fort West, Farm at Willow Creek, Brixworth, Brookmere, Sugarwood, Stonecrest, Farragut View, Woodland Trace, Sweetbriar, St. Giles Place, Wyndham Hall, Village Green, Baldwin Park, Waverly Court, Foxden Village, Cool Springs, Orchid Grove. That is a pretty comprehensive list of the entirety of Farragut. I have relationships with the HOA members, or I have contacts with people that are former HOA members that I can talk to in each one of these, and I have relationships they understand. They can reach out to me and talk to me because I've helped people in these neighborhoods where they struggle. I talk to them. I'm so tired of this division that's been created in this town over silliness. We have a history. We have principles that this town was founded on, and I am doing my darndest to understand and remember them and stay true to them. Our community is special. It didn't happen overnight. It happened over a course from 1980 forward. with the decisions they made when we were founded and staying true to those decisions and staying true to our founding, which honors good stormwater infrastructure, good roads, parks, sidewalks and trails, our history, arts and culture, sign ordinances. These are the things that were established early on, and taking care of our residents. I have advocated for so many things behind the scenes that you guys don't have any clue how hard I've worked to establish these relationships and advocate for my residents. I meet with them, I reach out to them when there's things that are impacting them. I send them proactive emails. Fox Den, it worked out well for them because I sat in front of them and said, these are the issues in front of us, what's going on? And having that relationship with them, we were able to redirect that neighborhood to go onto Kingston Pike as opposed to in their neighborhood. That's just an example. I have been targeted. My reputation is constantly assaulted by this group. You just get on social media. It's all about, it's the Vice Mayor Pavlin show. Tired of it. I don't do this for anything, but I love my community. This community is amazingly special. We're going to build out. It's going to happen. If we follow the plans that were put together a long time ago, we build out and we stay consistent with what this community envisioned when it was built in 1980. If we ignore the principles, our foundational principles, you end up with a lot of development we don't want. This is a decision I support, the South Ward Alderman. If the residents in the South Ward don't want this there, I'm fine with taking that money back in. If the residents on McPhee Road say, you know what, go ahead, you just let a neighborhood come in, I'm fine. I really am. So I'm laying this in you guys' lap. I'm fine with either way. So sick of this.
Are we sure?
I'm
Alderman
sorry,
White.
Alderman White, I apologize.
Okay,
I'm a little upset, not upset with you.
that's okay. All that's interesting, but the only thing I ask for the people I represent on the south side, is to have a meeting. If 10 people come, 10 people come. If 100 people come, 100 people come. But at least the representatives from the south side will know what our people want over there. That's all I'm asking, is more citizen input, because I don't think we've had enough. And I want to know. I want to know what they think. If they think somebody's going to build houses there and they want them, great. I'm for what they want. If they want to park there on that piece of property, personally, I particularly don't like it, but it's not a piece of property I'd want to build anything on, but that's beside the point. I want to know what the Southside citizens think, and I would like to have some kind of meeting where we can advertise and say, here it is, this is what we want to do, come and tell us what you think. That's what I was saying. I wouldn't saying let's not do it. I mean,
Okay, is that all?
that's all I have,
Okay.
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, I mean, I'll
Alderman
just,
Burnett, I'll come back to you. You asked to be recognized again.
yeah, thank you, Mayor. I mean, I can just tell you what I've experienced is unwavering support for a park. I've not heard a single person on the McPhee Road area, not a single person at a high school football game when you get asked 100 times about a park, but it's pure excitement that we're avoiding 200 homes in that area, and it's going to be preserved as a park. So I've not heard a single human being say they do not want it, and that's we know what the 2019 results are. I know my experience in the community, and it is nonstop full support of that being a park over a neighborhood or anything else. So, yeah, I don't know what else to add, but I've not heard anyone, not a single soul, say they would rather it not be a park but be a neighborhood.
Okay. Personally, I've heard from 9 of the new houses of the 10 that are in that area that's been built and occupied. And they support what the 2019 group asked for. I was there as the vice mayor was and others when we had this particular outreach to the citizens there, and it was open to everyone, but it was primarily the South Ward people that lived on McPhee Road area that come out for that. This was not people from other subdivisions, mainly it was from the people in that area. But we did have some from other subdivisions that was looking at what we were going to do, and they told us whenever they did the surveys. So, I mean, to do that again, we've got, I mean, it's something that we could do to see if those 9 people disagree, or if there's been people move in and move out that would change their mind. But from what I've had phone call wise, since we did this, I've not had anybody really call me and tell me that they were totally against it. I've been told that it's on social media that there are 1 or 2 people that are against it, but I think 1 or 2 people that's trying to drive a vision that has been in our town for quite some time is not what we would normally look at. We try to do what's best for all of Farragut, and regardless of what a small minority of people tend to want us to do, so for whatever reason. But I think some of the things that's been said is that we should be spending it on roads, and we're spending it on roads. There's no doubt we're spending money on roads. There's some stuff we can do about the roads and some stuff we can't. And most of what causes our traffic issues are things that we cannot control. And hopefully one day, whenever the state of Tennessee decides and the federal government decides to widen our freeway, then we will have a better situation than what we have now as far as traffic in our town. Until that happens, we're going to be faced with cut-through traffic. So I hope that that helps people understand that's watching on TV and it's here tonight, that we're not disagreeing about listening to what the people have to say, because we do that. We've done that on everything. As a matter of fact, we've got a big thing coming up that we hope all the residents attend about the town center. And and there's two really good opportunities coming up to do that. So I highly recommend everyone to get out and let your opinion be known. That's what we're having this thing for. And as far as the amount of time that it's took to get this done, you know, the opportunity to buy the property, it had nothing to do with the cost of the road by Knox County. I think one of the things that a lot of people did not understand was there was a major train derailment at that location years ago. And I think that was one of the deciding factors that the school board looked at, as far as people are shaking their head. But I talked to Susan Horn about it, and she's our school board representative. And that was kind of what we were told. So I also had the meeting with the school board here. None of these people in the room were here except for myself and David. And we listened to what they had to say. And so regardless of what the fear is being put out there, it's not what you think it is. It's exactly what I said.
If I may, Mayor, one more comment, if you don't mind. The census or the meeting you guys are talking about you had back in 2019, well, I appreciate that, but we weren't planning on buying that property that we're planning on buying for $5.5 million. It's a totally different situation. And with all due respect to Drew, going to a football game, talking to 5 people that are for it is not an answer.
Well,
it's my opinion. We need public input and a meeting to hear it, and then we hear it, and then we know.
David, that's what I said we can do. We can have that.
Okay.
It's not.
That's great. If we can have it, that's what I'd like to have.
Okay. Is that all?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, the time is approximately 7 o'clock. And without objection, August 24, 2023, Board and Mayor and Alderman meeting is now adjourned.